Hi, welcome to episode 2 of the ALANAmagazine Podcast. Here at the ALANA Project, we empower creators and builders by guiding them into Web3. I am so happy, and I still have the jitters. I'm so happy to be here with Dhariwal, digital fashion designer and 3D artist. How are you doing, Paridhi?
Hey Elahn, I'm doing great, and thank you for inviting me here. It's like I've been waiting for this podcast for long, and I'm glad to be here and talking about things like my journey and about Elana and a lot more.
I think
I'm
it's really
excited.
cool. Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think it's really cool that we're both wearing pink today.
So let's blush a
So
little for
fun,
that.
right? Like,
I know.
so cool. So I guess my first question is on that topic is what is the most meaningful item that you are wearing today?
Okay, this is something I am really revealing for the first time in front of everyone. So it's like I'm
Ooh,
wearing this watch. If you can see,
oh,
its
nice.
color is golden. Yeah. So it belongs to my grandfather. He's no more, but
Oh,
it's like almost 30 to 35 years old watch when the Titan company launched it, and it's the
oh,
very
wow.
first limited edition of that watch. Yeah, so it's kind of vintage for me, and he was kind of person who pushes always to go do good and be a good in education, do some great work in the industry, because at that time also he was like I'm talking about 1980s or 1990s, he was pushing everyone to study, because India
Oh,
wasn't that
wow.
great in terms of study at that time. So yeah, so he left me this, and he was like, whenever you do good, something good, you always keep this with you. So like I'm keeping it close to my heart, and that's what I'm wearing special
Aw,
today. Yeah,
that's so
it holds that
sweet.
emotional value to me, but yeah,
Of
it's just a
course.
confidence. Yeah,
I feel like that's something that is even hard to buy, to obtain. It's those things that are just priceless that make it the
of
most
course.
meaningful. Like something that you can't even really buy is like your
Exactly.
grandfather's watch, which is so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah,
I
thank
guess
you.
my question is how do you feel this desire to study? How do you feel like it's impacted your journey today?
Impacted my desire to study. Actually, I wasn't a really great student in school and college as well. I was the mysterious one. Let me be
Ooh.
frank about it. Yep, yeah. My face doesn't look like one, but I was. Yeah, but I had a pretty good exposure about fashion industry of handicraft, textiles, so fashion, fast fashion in college, but I
Mhm.
graduated in pandemic, and that really gave me another chance to think about like, because after you like passed out from the college, you have this question, now what? And
Yeah.
the pandemic really gave me that time to think about like, now what I need to do. So I was like figuring out what is industry doing, and then I
Mhm.
was this where that people are making clothes in the software, and I was like, how the hell that can happen, and what's the use case of this? And that was the day one of my mentors spoke about Clo 3D software. Then she was like, you
Mhm.
should go and try the software out. I was like, okay, let's give it a try, it's 1 month free. And that was the day when I was like, it made me curious that okay, this is not just a software, there's a lot more behind it, because nobody was talking in India about it. I no college were teaching about digital fashion, and I already had a pretty good command on government construction, creative direction of the
Mhm.
projects, and I've done multiple projects with different kind of communities before in the college. So that was the day, I made myself clear that I'm not gonna go for job hunting. Rather, I want to see this software first, because I can see the future. Because that time I knew that technology is
Oh.
gonna be there for long. And that day I decided to went into the rabbit hole to study a whole lot of about digital fashion, the possibilities and everything. and that took me really 1 year to understand fully and learn the basics and like intermediate level of software. Now here I am talking with you about digital fashion.
That is
That
so
was my journey.
cool. It's so cool to see like just the impact, like just kind of like tie it together to see like the impact of your grandfather pushing you to study, and the fact that, you know, once you were at this next level, you're like, let me hold off on like the job hunting. I want to study because there's something to this. And like you said, like I can see the future from this work, and looking into this software and the impact that that may have for the fashion industry. So I think that's super cool. And it's like, I think it just speaks to like your character of adventure and being venturous. So I think that's what you kind of need too, at least like
Yeah, you can say
to,
that.
yeah, like for innovative fashion or fashion tech period. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I want to ask you about, could you tell us a little bit about your craft? Like, how would you describe digital fashion design to someone who may not be familiar with it?
Okay, so I'm gonna explain it how I explained to my parents because they didn't
Okay.
understand definitely what digital fashion is. So I told them that you meet people offline in the physical world, dress up good, wear your best of best, and you dress up according to the occasions. Like if you're gonna go to wedding, you wear something partyish. If you go to some religious places, you dress up according to that. So
Hmm.
your dressing sense, your style, your fashion, even you're not a fashion follower doesn't mean, but you prep yourself to look good. That is similar in the digital screens. So right now, I asked my dad that how many time you spend into your screens. So he was like 4 hours,
Hmm.
3 hours. So I was like, "Ki, I'm spending to I'm meeting people online, I'm meeting global people, I'm meeting people for everywhere. So don't you think I should look good there also?" And he was like, yeah, it makes sense. I was like, yeah, that is about digital fashion. That how can I uh, extend my identity, my self expression, and how
Hmm.
I want to portray myself in the screens. So similarly, if I'm
Hmm.
wearing a shirt right now, I can wear the similar shirt in digital space as well. So people who are watching me digitally or interacting with me in the screen can see the
Hmm.
t-shirts, and this is just the basics of digital fashion, what
Yeah.
it could be. Like besides that, it's there are different n numbers of use cases that can be done. But yeah, for just basic understanding to non Web3 and non physical fashion followers, this is the thing that you can understand from that. It is just an extension to your identity to digital screens, and how you can dress up yourself, how you want to express yourself,
Hmm.
how you want other people to look at you because they can't meet you physically. So like we are talking to
Yeah,
each other,
that's
so you want
true.
to, yeah. So that is how I explain usually to people who don't belong to digital fashion.
Okay. Would that mean like avatars? Like, what does that look like? Is it like AR?
Oh, it's no. I guess it's whole lot of many things altogether. So it depends really like where you want to belong to in the digital space. So like in
Hmm.
my context, I'm not the person. I'm not a big time gamer. Okay, but I want to have some cool filters on me when I talk to people online. When
Hmm.
I go to meetings, I want to wear some fashion accessory. So that time, what matters to me is the clothing and accessory items. But when I'm in the game, like my brother's plays a lot of mobile games, so he was more into that. I need to be that character. I need to be fierce one. I
Okay.
need to be the crazy one. So for his choices, almost all the time about characters and skins, not the skins, the characters, basically the avatars.
Hmm.
And but for me it's mostly the skins. So yeah, it
Okay.
has a lot of things. And of course AR, VR, and mixed reality is kind of a tool to how you interact with the technology. But then the
Hmm.
items, when you say they are avatars, they are skins, they are props, they are filters, and many more things.
Could you touch on what mixed reality is?
Yeah, of course. Mixed reality is basically interaction between physical world and digital world uh,
Mm-hmm.
in real time. So I'll give you an example. I read about it somewhere online. So for example, I'm driving through somewhere and I see a store, a fashion. I want to buy a dress. If I'm having my mixed reality headsets or any device, what I can do that I don't have to touch the dress physically. I'm just scanning my dress and I have all the data
Mm-hmm.
flowing in the air in the environment with the device. So I'm zooming in the screen to read about the materials of the dress, like who made it, where
Oh, that's
factory
cool.
is, or exactly anything, any data I can read through. Or probably I can have some features like where I can like put on my size in that environment and I can see the dress walking or see myself
Oh,
walking somehow.
wow.
So that is something like it's like when you are interacting, when we are working in the physical world and you're interacting with digital items simultaneously, and it's all happening in the real time. That is something called mixed reality in my understanding, and it has some parts like AR and VR. So with the AR, you just scan things on your pictures, on your videos, but you cannot interact, like you cannot just with mixed reality things. You can really touch, zoom in, zoom out, flip pages, change color, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So that is mixed reality.
That is so cool. And I feel like the possibilities are endless when it comes to mixed reality and
Of course.
fashion. Even in terms of like sustainable fashion, I know that there are people who have like chips where you can track like your clothing to make sure, I think it's called like just to make sure
uh,
like clothing is being
NFT tag.
upcycled or
Yeah,
yeah, the
it's
it's
NFT tags.
NFC tag.
NFC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like there's so much potential with fashion and mixed reality. It's super cool.
Of course, of course. The new trend which I'm seeing online is CJ advertisements, basically, where like
Mm,
it's highly demanded, and even fashion and beauty brands are more into these advertisements where you have videos of real time environment, and then you put on this huge lipstick on the road, and it just
yeah.
shows the product is larger than life, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting. That's I guess part of mixed reality. Yeah.
Which is super cool. My next question for you is what do you know about Web3? And how do you think
Um.
digital fashion design can benefit in the Web3 space?
I guess Web3, for me, Web3 is a voice to stand on your own, because in my experiences, and I read stories and I heard experiences of other people, what used to happen in the fashion industry, and it was been a like it used to be a generational problem of fashion industry, that the real artist, man force, the labor, the designers who really put their heads into the work are were quite
Hmm.
often overlooked by the brands and the industry. So it's like something good happen, it's always the brand, the credit goes to brand but not the
Yeah.
artist. And I
Yeah.
guess that has sent all the designers, the artists really into attention, that like
Hmm.
the work we are doing, but people are not really seeing that what we are doing. So in that context, I guess Web3 enables a space for you to stand on your own. It's like freedom for me and accessibility, where
Oh
you
wow.
don't need to be in someone else's, under someone else's, that you want to do something. You can just stand on your own, do your own project, launch your own things, connect direct with your friends, and probably sell items with your own terms and conditions. You don't have to follow a certain trend. You can find your own authentic tribe with the Web3. And I
Mm,
guess this is the biggest thing which I love being in the Web3 industry. And yeah, without much of the financial backing as well. And when you spoke about like what digital fashion can benefit from the Web3 space, I guess Web3 can um, I'm sure it can break a lot of generational problem of the fashion, but these two are my personal favorite. That one is decentralization, accessibility. So as I said, like
Mm-hmm.
you can do things, launch projects, sell products on your own terms. You don't need to have a strong financial backing also to do that. And
Yeah.
it's like decentralization make the community support so easy. So that is another thing. And accessibility, I don't have to limit myself to certain demographics right now, though of course
Mm-hmm.
internet was there before as well, and it's now as well, but then there was no such system of making your work authentic and ownership. Or you can't really claim ownership in the web 2 era, but in the web 3 era you can, like, if I sell, for example, I sell my products in, for example, in Korea as well, or in America, I can have the true ownership of my work. People can know that this is done by me sitting in India. That was
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
there in web 2. So I guess these are the two things. And third thing is sustainability, of course. Because I work with a lot
Mm-hmm.
of handicraft industry, I've been exposed to a lot of different handicrafts. But then what I learned here is, of course, it saves a lot of resources when you do things digitally, but it also makes people sustainable mentally. That people
Mm-hmm.
are seeing you what you're doing, okay, and people are
Yeah.
supporting you what you're doing. They are hearing your success as well as your failures. So it's kind of, it feels
Mm-hmm.
home rather than an abstract plan. So it's kind of
Authentic.
mentally making people mentally sustainable to like survive more in the industry, try more things, experiment with more things. So I guess these are the two three aspects which I think digital fashion can evolve a lot more and break down all the problems that we used to have in the industry for long.
Mm-hmm. I think what you said was really like interesting and awesome, like how with Web3, it empowers digital fashion designers to own their own designs and their own art, and to have their own terms and conditions rather than all the power being in these brands, or these corporations. Because like even in that, sometimes like artists get stepped on. Like we need creators, but we also need to take care of the creators, and so it does sound like Web3 is a great space for digital fashion designers in terms of ownership. So I think that is something that is very interesting for me.
Yeah.
Um, Another question that I have for you is, how long have you loved fashion? How long have you been interested in fashion?
Mm, um, Initially, when I started my college, I was not a fashion lover at all. I accidentally did a
Mm-hmm.
project in college which went really well, and I decided to opt fashion. But then I was not more interested in clothing. I'm more interested in how fashion impacts on many things, like on earth, on personal lives, on your self-expression aspect. So I was not finding that in fashion design journey, like traditional
Mm-hmm.
fashion design journey before pandemic. But then I realized that in sorry, digital design journey. So when you
Mm-hmm.
design something digitally, you can really go out of the box. You don't have a limitations of doing anything, and you can always experiment. So after when I started this journey, that's when I got more excited about fashion. And that's where I was like, when I see something sci-fi, I was like, I'm going to wear something like that, and now I can create those products. So that is another fun thing. And over the time, I discovered that I have something with shapes. I don't know. It's like
Mm-hmm.
each of my piece comes down to with the play of shapes. So that is like my
Mm.
recent reflections on my work that has been going on for quite a long time, and I've realized it now. So I'm just building my interest and in like very different segments now. It's not just about clothing anymore. It's about more than clothing. It's about how it's impacting on everything, including my mental health.
That's so interesting. So just to make sure I'm understanding you, is it's more so the design aspect that you really love.
Yeah, I can. Yes, yes, you can say that. I love designing the pieces, but there's also twist in that. So when I design pieces, so what happens in the design? When something, the creative process, you brainstorm on the
Hmm.
concept first, you gather visual references, and then you start working on the product, whatever the product
Hmm.
is. So what I get more excited about the process of starting the product in the software.
Yeah.
So as I started my journey with the software, once I have the mood boards and the design references on the board, and then when I start doing in the software, like making them products in 3D, I get super excited and I'm super curious always that what's gonna be the result, because it's gonna always
Yeah.
different results than what you expected, and how it turns out in such an unexpected way. Sometimes it turns out very bad that I don't like it myself, but then sometimes the struggles the struggles really make you learn that okay, so like if I'm doing one thing and I'm trying just one technique on it and it's not working, then I'm trying another. So that learning process makes me excited. Now I'm at least know that this process don't work. That is like my
Hmm.
learning lesson, that out of 5 processes I know two workflows won't work in this. So I need to experiment the
Hmm.
next 3 more. So that
Oh,
iteration
that's
part in the
exciting.
softwares, that is super exciting for me. It's always like I enjoy building things more than giving them a creative direction. So yeah,
Hmm.
that excites me a lot more, because every time you're
You're a
doing something new,
builder.
it's, yeah, you can say that I want to be a 3D builder and I'm working on it.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So I feel like it's time to get into your actual designs. That was in the Alana Magazine Earth Edition. Uh, I
Sure,
want
sure.
to talk about your artwork, Lush Green.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that is one of my very favorite piece, which is like close to my heart because I've worked on it. Like, I knew nothing about how to build that artwork, and I kind of came to somewhere like developing a AR garment for say. So yeah, this artworks, it was a themed
So
artwork for the Lana
beautiful.
magazine edition. Thank you. So the inspiration was like I wanted to create something which is like a goddess of the jungle, basically. So she holds the power
Hmm.
of whole the jungle. And what
Ooh.
I used, I thought of many different prompts and used AI mid journeys to develop the design, and then took the design through the different softwares to make it in augmented reality. But the idea was to explore the realness of the rainforest, where the basic silhouette is like more towards earthy texture, but then these delicate entwined vines all over the
Mm.
body, which makes the whole garment really excited. And I guess this is how it looks, and you can
Oh
try with your phone
wow.
on the air. So when you walk, the vines walk with you. When you move, these vines move
Oh
with you.
my
That's the most interesting
gosh.
part. I do love about this garment. So like it's a work of the balanced work of natural beauty and artistic creation in the garment.
So viewers can actually try on this AR garment. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, it is correct. People can download 010 app in their iPhones. I guess it's only compatible with iPhones right now, and they can try with their phones.
That is amazing, and I feel like even as somebody who contributes to Alana magazine, it's like that is the thing that's mind blowing for me, is that a person reading the magazine can take a look, and they see this design, this beautiful design, and not only can they appreciate it for what it is, but they actually can try it on. Like, that's pretty awesome. That's really cool. And I
Yes.
feel like that's what's amazing about your work as well, is that you're able to not only create these designs, but also translate it in a way where other people can appreciate it as well.
Yeah, so this is also one of the other creators' work, which she created as an
Mm-hmm.
AI image, and then we translated in the augmented reality, so people can try this garment as well with their mobile phones. And it's so fun to try this garment. So it's like another layer of another perk of being involved in digital fashion, that you can just try virtually things first, and then you can produce.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you to the different ability. Either you're creators or not,
Yeah,
it's like you're
that
you're
is
saving a
so.
lot of things going into the landfills, and you're actually making an impact, like following sustainability there.
It's so I feel like it's just so awesome. I just get so excited about this. Like, and I want to give a shout out. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, to Soledad Gallardo. That was her design. The white
Yeah,
flower dress. It was her design. However, Paridhi, you did do the AR translation, which is beautiful, and I'm super excited to download the app after this stream so I could try
for
it on and
sure.
see how it looks on me.
Yeah, yeah, you should. I have hundred of spams in my phones with these AR creations. So I usually dance with them. It's like it's so fun.
Ooh, I want to dance.
Yeah, sure, you
Okay,
should. There are
so
not many garments.
please forgive me if I skipped over this, but for Lush Green, what was the exact inspiration point for you?
Oh yeah, exact inspiration. Like, as I said, I wanted to create something which holds the power of the jungle, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
with just the basic clothing, that was one thing. But how I imagined it a way that it should be covered with something green, but at the same time, I wanted it to be very delicate and entwined. I don't want it to be like full of
Mm-hmm.
green stuff on the body, because at the end
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be wearable. It should be wearable by humans. So it's like featuring a green earthy base pattern that exudes the realness of rainforest. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you for explaining. We have somebody in the in the chat, Mexicano Reyes. It's
yeah.
they say that they can also try on the website by
Website
uploading a
including a
photo.
photo.
Click that try on
Okay.
button.
Yeah,
Good to
see,
know.
yeah, that is another feature. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mexicano. So yeah, you can just site. You don't have to download the app either. But I guess you should download it. It's fun. There are a lot of other things also on the app.
I'm getting the app.
Yes.
So, my question for you is, what part of your creation process is the most favorite? And what was, especially when it comes to lush green and white flower, what was your most favorite part of that process?
Okay, so exciting question. Thank you for asking. When you develop an AR garment, you have to go through a certain workflow. It's like high poly to low poly workflow. So it's like a very high detailed, high meshed garment, and you create a super low poly, low quality mesh of that garment, and you kind of bake the textures of high poly garment to low poly garment. So to
Mhm.
optimize the product into the augmented reality, so it can be accessible with bare minimum internet and bare minimum like in every other phones. So that process was quite interesting, because I knew nothing about that process specifically when I was
Mhm.
creating this garment. And yeah, in the Lana magazine team, Stella specifically told me that, are you interested in doing that? I was like, why, hell yes. Why should I say no? So it went into different software, like from Flow 3D to Substance Painter and Black and Blender, and then back again in Substance Painter, and then again rectifying things in Flow 3D. So that was the process. Really empowers my whole learning about augmented reality, like creating things for augmented realities in a different way, because that is also a similar workflow also came when you design game assets as well. So it's more or less a similar
Oh, wow.
workflows. So that gives me another direction to walk into, that I want to design now with game assets, and I can do more AR
Game
filters. So that
assets.
was the brilliant part which I learned in this magazine collaboration.
And you said it's called high quality and low quality?
High poly. It's poly,
High
POLY,
poly.
high poly to low poly. Yeah.
POLY. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. High poly, low poly. That's good
Yes.
to know. That's good to know. So for anybody who wants to learn how to create um, AR wearables, they should learn high poly, low poly.
Yep. High
Okay,
poly to
that's
low
good to
poly
know.
workflow. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the things
Okay,
we should know. Yeah, like
that's
you
really
can
good
see
to.
in the image that we have done these processes. There is lot
Oh
in the process. We need to
wow,
bake knives and do some stuff in Blender and here little
it's very
discussions of
detailed.
everything. Yeah, it's very
Very
detailed.
detailed.
And I guess at the
That is
end,
so cool.
people from Zero Ten also helped us to make the wines compatible in AR because that's where we're facing issues. And these are the UV maps, which high poly UV maps, which it's like you put a texture of something on that shape,
Hmm.
so you can see that shapes of the patterns. And these
Oh
are few different
wow.
maps that goes into the mesh of the garments, and that's how it came.
I feel like you're taking me on a journey with this one. That's amazing. And
Yeah,
very detailed. It's
it's
very
my fun.
detailed.
I often like to go to this page and read about my stuff back and again because it always comes back in your journey somehow. And
Hmm.
I really miss
So
that work.
it's beautiful work.
Thank you.
So Paridi, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends in digital fashion design? Do you look at trends?
Um, for trends, yeah, I used to browse Instagram for that because that's where all the
Hmm.
community works put in. But then over time, I've realized that there are many other ways, and I'm not liking Instagram much because of the algorithm.
Yeah.
They're messing up badly with the things. But then and also about the trends, what I've realized that in digital fashion there are no such trends unlike physical fashion.
Hmm.
So it's like because with it's art, okay, and each of
Hmm.
the creator is telling story with their arts, so it can never be a trendy thing. Yeah, of course I do whenever I get an opportunity to work on a themed project, I do look at the community work and what people are doing, how they're portraying things, but then it's always a different thing when you create it again. So that is one thing. But if you just keep myself updated about digital fashion techniques and tools, like how people are
That makes
implementing
sense.
digital fashion on different areas and how it is being used in different areas as well, like in marketing or in e-commerce or everything. For that I usually go to 80 level articles. And the another thing for me is YouTube, because I think like
Okay.
nobody has to go anywhere. If you just scroll YouTube, like in a good amount, you can find clues with the community works about everything, I guess,
Hmm.
because community is so helpful and it's been there for like quite long. You can find older versions to updates with the new versions with the use cases of digital fashion and the tutorials and everything. So yeah, that's how you can manage your knowledge.
Hmm. It's funny because I was just going to ask you about community. That was like my next question. But from what I'm hearing from you is more so like because digital fashion design, it's like it is kind of an odd space. It's not only fashion, but it's innovation. It's the ability to create beyond what we normally see. So
Yeah.
I can understand that in terms of design, there really isn't like any like there aren't really any trends in that space. However, in terms of building the design, that's where the trends show up for you, right?
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's where the trend
So,
shows. Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say? I don't want to cut you off.
No, no, I'm just saying go on. You can have your
Okay.
questions. Yeah.
Okay. So, how has community played a part in this entire journey for you?
I guess From starting, it's been the community, because I was self starting myself. Nobody was mentoring me to
Mm-hmm.
do what needs to be done and to learn digital. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess all the community work from different areas. Sometimes from YouTube, sometimes from LinkedIn, sometimes from other articles people are talking about it. So it's all about the community, and I'm fortunate to come across Alana in my earlier stage of profession, like in 2022 only. In November, I've joined Alana, and that's where I found my safe spot to learn about
Aw.
everything Web3 and digital fashion. Yeah, yeah. So that's my yeah. I should say that, like, I'm thankful for Stella. Like, she's always been there
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, teaching me and discussing with things about the stuff. And when I talk about the community, I guess when you work online and always into the screens, I guess meeting people with diverse area of interest is very necessary. And community can only
Mm-hmm.
help in that ways, because every other artist at difference, collaboration and networking with similar interests are very easy. When
Yeah.
you engage in the community, it opens doors to, you know, work with different demographics, different art styles, with different application, with different use cases all the time, to, you know, have your very different diverse areas of portfolios also. So I guess that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest part community plays in learning, also in support also, because when you launch any project, community is the first thing you look forward to. And you
Yeah,
know, you can say your tribe, you have to manage your tribe, and it's so direct by being in the Web3. So I guess it's very important for me at
I
least.
love that. So, what advice would you give to those who want to get into digital fashion design?
Um, I guess for now, every fashion designer should read about digital fashion first, because it's high time. And even you don't belong to specific digital fashion, the workflows, the software you can really use in your daily works of fashion. Like, it can really save time, cost, manpower, and gives you a whole lot of different scope of work. But just start out, I would say,
Yes.
because that's what I always do. Because whenever I see something new, I just try it out. And because constant learning is very crucial, I understand. But at the same time, the power of adaptation and iteration is very important as well. You need to look at something and you see that you want to try this, just go ahead and try. I often say to myself that I need to compete with myself. I don't have to compete with others,
Mm,
because that's when you grow. That's when you know that I have learned this process now, and I've learned this software, or this anything, this something related to fashion, Web3 or anything. It's my, like, I'm leveling up slowly. So just pick any
mm-hmm.
project, just start on, because there are multiple things needs to can be done in digital fashion. So you can just, you know, start on your own with just some tutorials. And I guess you don't even have to spend money on that, because in YouTube there are a lot of tutorials available from very
Mm-hmm.
great people, where you can just like their stuff and share and save it around and support them as well, and at the same time you learn from them. So I would say just start out with whatever interest you have. Don't hesitate and don't look at others what they are doing. Be in your little safe space and work for, like, until you feel yourself satisfied. This is
I
usually
love
what I do.
that. I love that. I love that you say safe space because, like, yeah, sometimes when you are studying and you're just focusing on how to improve yourself, you do feel safe and you don't feel like a need to compare yourself, but you also can
Exactly.
acknowledge that there are ways that you can grow, which is really awesome. So,
Yeah.
my last question for you is if people want to get in touch with you or if they want to look at your work, where can they find you?
I'm usually more active on LinkedIn and Instagram, of course, but I guess I won't be more active on Instagram, though I have all the work on my beacons link as well and on my Instagram as well. But because of the algorithm stuff, I'm not liking Instagram much. I'm gonna
Oh
switch.
yeah.
I've already switched to LinkedIn a lot. I'm quite active, like most of the day. And I'm also going to be active on Farcaster, the decentralized social media, which is more fun and more community engagement is quite real in there. But yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can connect me if you're not on Farcaster. LinkedIn is the perfect place to connect me, or with my website, you can connect me with my email as well.
Awesome. And I agree with you. I don't like Instagram anymore.
Yeah,
But it's not about them. It's not about them. But
yeah, it's
Paridhi, thank you so much for chatting with me and allowing me to learn about your journey, allowing all of us to learn about your journey. I had so much fun talking with you and learning from you. Um, is there any last thing you want to say to the people before we head out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, it's my real pleasure actually to be here and talk about my journey. But of course, whenever you feel that you want to start with Web3 digital fashion and everything, just join Alana, I would say.
Ooh.
That's that's something which I always tell people, that the place where you will feel safe and you will learn everything about Web3. You can like try and go into the holes of little projects and discover your true interest in Alana.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
like an invitation, everyone. If you have not purchased the Earth edition of Alana Magazine, just reminding you guys that it is out and you can still do that. Um, but yeah, thank you all for watching. This has been amazing. Paridhi, you have been amazing. And yeah, everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye.